Midnight Zephyr presents a new true mysterious horror story. In the fog-shrouded village of Whispering Pines, tucked away in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, protagonist Mia, a recently divorced investigative journalist, relocates for a fresh start after a traumatic scandal that cost her her career. The village is infamous for its eerie fog that never fully lifts and its isolated lakeside trails, where locals whisper of echo lights, faint pulsating blue glows that dance above the treetops at dusk, said to be harbingers of lost souls. Mia's new life begins quietly in a rented cottage by Mirror Lake, where she hopes to write a book on forgotten mysteries. From the start, she notices the echo lights, but dismisses them as bioluminescent phenomena. Her first neighborly encounter is with Elias, a grizzled retired park ranger with a limp from an old accident, who warns her about wandering too far into the woods, sharing tales of hikers vanishing without trace. To add depth, Mia adopts a stray dog named Shadow, who becomes her loyal companion, but grows increasingly agitated near reflective surfaces like the lake or windows. The plot unfolds in escalating tension. On her first night, Mia spots the echo lights reflecting in the lake, but counts 8 in the water versus 7 in the sky. Curious, she photographs it, only to find a shadowy figure in the developed image, someone watching her. This sparks her journalist instincts, leading to a subplot where she digs into village archives, uncovering a 50-year-old case of a missing family whose last photo showed similar discrepancies and reflections. Twist 1. Mia receives cryptic packages at her door, old film canisters containing snapshots of strangers in distress, each annotated with "See the Beauty" in childish scrawl. She suspects a local eccentric, a reclusive photographer named Harlan, living in a cabin deep in the woods. Confronting him reveals his obsession with capturing essences. But Harlan is blind, raising questions about how he takes photos. New subplot. Mia befriends a young barista, Lena, who confides her own stalkings, tying into a village-wide pattern of disappearances linked to pretty collectors, entities that lure victims with idealized images. As suspense builds, Mia experiences vivid hallucinations of her ex-husband returning, more perfect and attentive than ever, but his touch leaves frostbite marks. This psychological layer explores her grief, with twists revealing the hallucinations are induced by a parasitic fungus in the fog, amplified by the echo lights. Adding conflict, Shadow the dog begins acting possessed, leading Mia to a hidden grove where an ancient stone idol awakens in darkness, repelled only by artificial light. Mid-story pivot. Elias confesses he was part of a government experiment in the 1970s, implanting seeds in villagers to monitor supernatural activity. Mia learns she's unknowingly a descendant, her divorce scandal fabricated to draw her here. A child's imaginary mentor in the village school turns real, abducting kids through wardrobes that act as portals. Climax builds with a funeral for a recent victim, where an enigmatic veiled elder reveals the dead remain aware in their graves, their screams echoing in the fog. Final twist. The village children, influenced by the echo lights, reveal themselves as mimics, extraterrestrial scouts disguising as innocents to harvest emotions, turning the fog into a weapon. Pacing ramps up through short atmospheric scenes, quiet investigations interrupted by sudden chases, revelations in dim cabins, and nightmarish confrontations. Emotional engagement peaks with Mia's internal struggle, trusting her sanity versus embracing the horror. Unexpected resolution. Mia enters a lake reflection to seal the portal, but emerges changed, becoming a guardian echo light, eternally watching but unable to intervene as the village resets into deceptive peace. New characters like Lena add alliances and betrayals, while subplots intertwine for layered suspense, ending on a tense note hinting at wider invasion. The fog in Whispering Pines had a way of creeping into everything. It wasn't the kind of mist that rolled in from the ocean like in those postcard coastal towns. No, this was thicker, more insistent, born from the ancient cedars and firs that choked the Pacific Northwest landscape. It clung to your clothes, seeped into your lungs, and sometimes, if you listened close enough, it seemed to whisper secrets you didn't want to hear. Mia Thompson had chosen this place precisely because of its isolation, a forgotten speck on the map where she could lick her wounds after the scandal that had torched her career as an investigative journalist. The divorce from Mark had been the final blow, a messy unraveling of accusations and half-truths that left her questioning her own judgment. But here, in this village of barely 800 souls, she hoped to rebuild, to write that book on unsolved mysteries that had been gnawing at her for years. Her cottage sat on the edge of Mirror Lake, a body of water so still it lived up to its name, reflecting the world above with unnerving clarity. The rental agent had called it charming rustic, which Mia translated as drafty and outdated. Still, it had a wide porch overlooking the water, a stone fireplace that crackled warmly against the chill, and enough quiet to let her thoughts breathe. She arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, the moving truck kicking up gravel as it pulled away, leaving her with boxes stacked like accusations in the living room. Shadow, the stray mutt she'd picked up from a shelter on the drive up, bounded around her legs, his black fur matted from the road trip. He was part lab, part mystery, with eyes that seemed to understand more than a dog should. "All right, boy," Mia said, scratching behind his ears. "This is home now. Let's make the best of it." As the sun dipped low, painting the fog in shades of bruised purple, Mia unpacked her laptop and notebooks first, tools of the trade. The scandal back in Seattle had involved a source who'd fed her false info on a corporate corruption story, leading to a retraction and her firing. Mark had sided with the doubters, calling her reckless. The memory stung, but she pushed it down, focusing on the lake view from her window. That's when she first noticed the echo lights. They appeared just after dusk, faint blue pulses hovering above the treetops like distant fireflies on steroids. Locals had mentioned them in online forums when she'd researched the town. Some atmospheric quirk, perhaps methane from the bogs or ball lightning. Mia watched them for a while, counting 7 distinct orbs bobbing in a loose formation. Shadow growled low in his throat, hackles raised, staring at the same spot. "Easy, boy," she murmured. "Just lights." The next morning, Mia ventured into the village proper, a cluster of weathered buildings along a single main street. A general store, a diner called Fog's Edge, and a small library where she planned to dig for local lore. Elias, the retired park ranger, was the first to introduce himself at the diner. He was in his late 60s with a salt and pepper beard and a limp that favored his right leg. His flannel shirt smelled faintly of pipe tobacco, and his eyes had that faraway look of someone who'd seen too much wilderness. "New to town?" he asked, sliding into the booth across from her uninvited coffee in hand. Mia nodded, introducing herself. "Heard about the cottage by the lake. Nice spot, but mind the trails after dark. Folks get lost easy in the fog." They chatted about the weather, the fishing, poor this season, and the echo lights. Elias leaned in, voice dropping. "Old-timers say they're echoes of the dead, souls trapped between worlds. Back in '73, a whole hiking party vanished up there. No bodies, no trace. Just their reflections seen in the lake sometimes, waving for help." Mia smiled politely, jotting notes mentally. Superstition made for good book material. She thanked him and headed to the library, Shadow trotting beside her on a leash. The building was a converted church, shelves crammed with dusty tomes under vaulted ceilings. The librarian, a quiet woman named Mrs. Hale, pointed her to the local history section. Mia spent hours flipping through yellowed newspapers, finding articles on disappearances. A family in 1972, a child in 1985, hikers in 2001. Patterns emerged, many last seen near Mirror Lake, with witnesses reporting odd lights beforehand. That evening back at the cottage, Mia set up her camera on the porch to film the echo lights. As they appeared, she zoomed in, counting 7 again. But when she glanced down at the lake's reflection, her breath caught. 8 orbs shimmered in the water, the extra one pulsing brighter, almost mockingly. Shadow barked sharply, pawing at the door to go inside. Mia snapped photos, her journalist's curiosity overriding the chill crawling up her spine. "What the hell?" she whispered. The fog thickened, swallowing the lights, and she retreated indoors, uploading the images to her laptop. In one shot, barely visible in the mist, a silhouette stood at the lake's edge, a tall, thin figure, head tilted as if listening. Sleep came fitfully that night, dreams of Mark's face distorted in water calling her name. She woke to Shadow whining at the front door. On the porch, a small package waited, wrapped in brown paper. Inside, an old film canister, unlabeled. Mia's hands trembled as she opened it, finding a strip of negatives. Holding them to the light, she saw images of a woman who looked eerily like her, standing by the lake, but in clothes from decades ago. Scrawled on the canister, "See the beauty?" Shadow sniffed it and backed away, growling. Determined, Mia drove to the village's only photo shop, a relic run by an old man who developed the film. The prints showed the woman in distress, her face contorted in fear, the background filled with echo lights. "Where did you get these?" the shop owner asked, eyes narrow. Mia evaded, but on the way home she stopped at Fog's Edge for coffee. There she met Lena, the young barista with tattooed arms and a pixie cut. "You're the new one by the lake," Lena said, pouring her brew. "Watch out for Harlan, reclusive guy in the woods, takes photos of everything, creepy as hell." Mia showed her the prints. Lena paled. "That's my aunt, missing since '95. How did you—" The conversation turned intense. Lena revealed she'd been receiving similar packages, photos of lost loved ones, annotated with beauty notes. "It's like someone's collecting memories," she said. Mia promised to investigate, feeling the pull of a real story. That afternoon, she hiked the trails with Shadow, following Elias's map to Harlan's cabin. The woods were oppressive, fog-muting sounds, trees looming like sentinels. Shadow tugged against the leash, uneasy. The cabin was a ramshackle affair, windows boarded, but smoke curled from the chimney. Knocking brought no answer, but through a crack, Mia glimpsed walls plastered with photos, faces, all with that same distressed look. A rustle behind her. Harlan emerged from the trees, tall and gaunt, eyes hidden behind dark glasses. "Trespassing?" he rasped. Mia confronted him about the packages. He smiled thinly. "Beauty is in the eye, isn't it? The lights show us what's hidden." He was blind, his glasses concealing milky eyes. "How do you take photos then?" Mia pressed. Harlan laughed, a dry sound. "I don't need eyes to see." Shadow snarled, and Mia backed away, but not before Harlan slipped her another canister. "For your collection." Back home, developing it revealed photos of Mark, her ex, but taken recently, in Whispering Pines, places she'd visited. Her heart raced. Was he here? Or was this a trick? That night, the hallucinations began. A knock at the door. Opening it, Mark stood there, smiling, more vibrant than ever. "Missed you, Mia." His touch was ice cold, leaving red marks on her arm. Shadow barked furiously, but Mark ignored him. "I've come back for you." Mia slammed the door, but glancing in the mirror, he was inside, reflection waving. She smashed the mirror, glass shattering, but the cold lingered. The next day, Elias visited, limping up the porch. "Heard you met Harlan. Stay away. He's not right." Over tea, he confessed. In the 1970s, he worked for a shadowy agency testing enhancements on villagers, implants to heighten perception tied to the echo lights. The fog carries spores, makes people see things. Hallucinations, but real enough to kill. Twist. Mia's family had ties to the program. Her parents fled after an experiment gone wrong. "You're like me." Seated. Shadow whined, scratching at the floorboards, revealing a hidden compartment with old documents confirming it. Subplot deepened when Lena called, frantic. A child from the village school, her nephew, had gone missing. He talked about a friend in the wardrobe who promised adventures. Mia investigated the school, finding drawings of a tall figure in closets, leaving notes like, "Join the beauty." At night in her cottage, Shadow howled as the statue in the village square, a commemorative stone figure of a founder, seemed to move in her peripheral vision during a fog walk. Shining her flashlight, it froze, but in darkness it lunged, cold stone fingers grazing her. Tension mounted at a village funeral for a recent hiker victim. The veiled elder, a woman with a perpetual smile, approached Mia. "The dead don't leave," she murmured. "They linger, aware, screaming in silence under the earth." Mia shivered, recalling her dreams. As rain fell, children at the graveside behaved oddly, their movements too synchronized, eyes glazing blue like the lights. The chapter builds to Mia confronting the lake again, diving into research. She sees the echo lights, now 9, in the reflection. Harlan appears, revealing he's a guardian, blind to protect from the mimics. The children aren't children. They're scouts from beyond, using the fog to infiltrate, harvesting fears. The harvest comes, he warns. But as Mia turns, a child from the school stands there, hand extended, smile too perfect. "Play with us?" Shadow attacks, but the child vaporizes in blue light, leaving ash. Mia flees, but the fog thickens, whispers growing. In her cottage, Mark's hallucination returns, merging with the child's face. "We're all beautiful now." She locks the door, but a note slips under. "See us." Outside, shadows of children circle, echo lights descending. What if the vessel is her? The cold spreads, and as Shadow howls, Mia realizes the invasion has begun. But is she part of it?